dawn rises quietly over a deep forest clearing, the kind of remote American landscape where silence feels ancient. Soft light filters through tall pines as mist drifts across the ground. And in the middle of this untouched stillness sits something unexpected. A compact, glacier-white RV with lines too clean, too geometric, too precise to be ordinary. The body is matte, the surfaces smooth, the seams surgical. To a passerby, it looks almost like a concept vehicle that escaped an architect's sketchbook. In reality, this is TerraFold One, an RV engineered not merely for travel, but for transformation. Because when it stops, it doesn't just park, it unfolds into a full-size modern cabin. For decades, RV expansion meant a predictable push-out wall or a pop-up roof. Useful? Sure. Revolutionary? Not even close. Slide-outs gave travelers a few more feet of space, but the core structure remained a box on wheels. TerraFold's creators weren't satisfied with a little extra room. They wanted the impossible. A vehicle that could drive compact and live spacious. A machine that behaves like an RV on the highway and like architecture at rest. That vision demanded more than engineering. It demanded a reinvention of how mobile living space is created. The early attempts were rough. Hinges cracked in cold weather. Wall panels flexed under wind. Seals leaked in rain. Every test revealed the same truth. Folding architecture is brutally unforgiving. The team stopped thinking like RV builders and started thinking like aerospace designers. They studied foldable aircraft wings, rapid deployed disaster shelters, and collapsible marine structures. They borrowed hinge logic from aviation, waterproof sealing from naval engineering, and structural locking concepts from modular housing. The breakthrough came with a new wall design, a 3-layer composite using carbon fiber outside, a honeycomb aluminum core, and thermal foam insulation inside, light enough to move, strong enough to stand, durable enough to deploy thousands of times. TerraFold's exterior panels aren't gimmicks. They're load-bearing architectural elements engineered to handle weather, temperature swings, and mechanical stress without fatigue. When TerraFold enters anchor mode, the transformation begins. 4 hydraulic stabilizer legs descend from the frame, leveling the vehicle like a micro-foundation. RVs typically fight uneven terrain. TerraFold adapts to it, adjusting its footing through pressure sensors that analyze soil, slope, and stability. Only then, when the base is perfect, does the real transformation begin. The roof lifts first, rising slowly on titanium-reinforced telescoping supports. Next, the entire passenger side wall swings outward, rotating smoothly into a horizontal floor extension. Then a secondary wall rises vertically, locking into place and forming a full-height room. The mechanisms are quiet, controlled, almost graceful, like watching a transforming building instead of a vehicle. Within 2 minutes, TerraFold doubles its interior footprint and takes the shape of a compact modern cabin. Inside, the transformation feels like stepping into a micro-home, not an RV. Warm composite wood flooring clicks together. The ceiling opens to reveal ambient strip lighting, and the panoramic windows frame the forest like artwork. No flimsy slide-out vibe. No cheap plastics. This is intentional architecture, designed to feel grounded, even though it's entirely mobile. The expansion isn't a magic trick. It's a structural metamorphosis, turning a travel shell into a livable space. TerraFold isn't just hiding luxury behind engineering. It's building comfort on top of discipline. In a world full of RVs pretending to be homes, TerraFold is the first that genuinely feels like one when it unfolds. With the cabin now fully expanded, the real genius becomes clear. TerraFold doesn't survive thanks to strong walls alone. It survives because the entire structure is constantly thinking. Its core intelligence, Fold Logic OS, operates like a home automation system fused with aerospace diagnostics. Where a traditional RV just sits on the ground, TerraFold evaluates everything: hinge tension, foundation pressure, thermal zones, seal compression, and even micro vibrations inside the frame. Every wall panel is instrumented. Every actuator has torque monitoring. Every hinge has wear detection sensors. The system doesn't just deploy the cabin, it verifies that each segment rests at the optimal angle and load. If the ground shifts after rain, TerraFold senses the imbalance and compensates by adjusting its hydraulic legs. If wind picks up, the structural locks engage tighter, lowering flexibility and increasing resistance. It behaves like a stationary building, even though it can fold itself back into a vehicle at any moment. Inside the walls, TerraFold's engineers tackled a problem RV owners complain about constantly: noise. RV shells creak at night, pop with temperature changes, and shake in wind. TerraFold eliminates these weak points with elastomeric hinge insulators, carbon composite articulations, and magnetic edge seals that lock each expanded panel like a pressure door. The silence inside is startling. The cabin doesn't feel temporary, it feels rooted. Energy autonomy was another battlefield. TerraFold's raised roof houses a 10 kilowatt-hour flexible solar array that adjusts angle automatically for maximum sunlight. A 14 kilowatt-hour LFP04 battery bank powers the cabin effortlessly. The HVAC system isn't built like an RV's. It uses zoned microvents and a variable speed heat pump that maintains stable interior climate with minimal energy waste. The system reads humidity, outside temperature, and interior behavior patterns and adjusts airflow automatically. You don't fight hot and cold pockets. The cabin balances itself. Water systems were redesigned from the ground up. Traditional RV plumbing struggles with vibration, freezing temperatures, and shifting geometry. TerraFold uses flexible stainless steel braided connections and quick-seal modular joints that maintain water tightness in both collapsed and expanded modes. A tankless heater, moisture extraction system, and insulated tanks turn TerraFold into a legitimate four-season unit, not just a summer camper. Lighting is just as intentional. Instead of harsh spot LEDs, TerraFold uses indirect architectural lighting, soft channels hidden behind panel edges, under floating shelves and along ceiling tracks. The cabin glows, not shines. At night, warm amber lighting mimics natural firelight tones, reducing strain and making the cabin feel cozy rather than clinical. In the morning, cool daylight LEDs help users wake up naturally. Security isn't an afterthought either. TerraFold's expanded state has multiple potential entry seams, so the engineers built an internal aluminum safety cage reinforced with pressure lock seals. Surface sensors detect movement, animal or human, around the cabin perimeter and display live feeds via micro cameras at corners of the cabin. It may be parked deep in a forest, but TerraFold maintains awareness like a well-designed home. Despite the complexity, TerraFold is serviceable. All expansion mechanisms are modular. Hinges, seals, and actuators can be replaced individually without dismantling the structure. Engineers treated TerraFold like a long-term architectural product, not just a disposable consumer RV. Testing proved that point. TerraFold endured 17,000 expansion cycles in lab stress tests, far beyond any RV slide-out lifespan. It faced Colorado snow load, Arizona dust storms, Pacific Northwest rain, and coastal winds. In every scenario, the structural locks and vacuum-insulated panels kept the interior stable, warm, and dry. This is the first RV that doesn't age like an RV. When you step back and look at the cabin in full expansion, warm light inside, solid structure outside, it becomes clear this isn't a gimmick. It's a mobile building wearing the disguise of a vehicle. As evening settles over the forest, something interesting happens. TerraFold stops feeling like a machine entirely. In expanded mode, with its warm interior lighting glowing gently through panoramic windows, it blends into the natural landscape like a temporary retreat crafted by an architect. Travelers report the same reaction. RVs feel like travel pods. TerraFold feels like a place you could stay for weeks. That psychological stability is intentional. Traditional RVs always remind you that you're just visiting. TerraFold changes your relationship with your surroundings. When the walls rise, the ceiling lifts, and the space expands, your brain registers the shift as entering a home mode. The architecture creates a sense of rootedness, even though the structure can fold and leave at any time. It's the first mobile living space where the emotional experience matches the engineering. TerraFold's environmental responsiveness reinforces this. FoldLogic OS constantly analyzes temperature shifts, humidity changes, wildlife movement, and wind patterns. If wind starts pushing from the east, TerraFold stiffens the structural joints on that side. If interior humidity rises during cooking, airflow automatically reroutes. In freezing weather, floor heating engages preemptively before dawn. The cabin doesn't wait for discomfort, it anticipates it. Nighttime in TerraFold is especially striking. Traditional RVs creak, flex, and groan as temperatures drop. TerraFold remains silent. Vacuum-insulated panels eliminate thermal pops. The composite skeleton doesn't contract loudly. Wind presses against the exterior, but the structure resists without vibration. Inside, you feel the same stillness you'd expect from a mountain cabin, not a mobile shell. Off-grid living is another area where TerraFold reshapes expectations. The solar system, battery bank, and water optimization create a level of autonomy that most RVs can't touch. You aren't tied to campgrounds, hookups, or RV parks. You can park on forest soil, mountain gravel, desert sand, or lakeside rock. The hydraulic legs adapt to any terrain, creating a stable foundation wherever you stop. TerraFold unlocks places traditional RVs literally cannot live comfortably. Even the retraction sequence is engineered with discipline. Unlike simple slide-outs, TerraFold retracts itself with systematic precision. Sensors verify hinge alignment, panel angle, seal readiness, and actuator load. If anything deviates, temperature, resistance, misalignment, the system stops and auto-corrects. Watching TerraFold return to compact mode is like watching architecture fold itself into transport form. Clean, quiet, controlled. No shaking, no forcing, no awkward binding. Just precise machine choreography. Once folded, TerraFold drives like a refined touring vehicle. The exterior shell is aerodynamic and rigid. Road vibrations are dampened. The cabin doesn't resonate like a hollow RV. The reinforced interior behaves like a solid block. Steering response, braking, and stability feel controlled. TerraFold may be complex when expanded, but in motion, it feels surprisingly simple and confident. The broader impact of TerraFold's design extends beyond RV travel. It demonstrates what future mobile living could be. Engineers already imagine larger versions with multi-wing expansions, rooftop terraces, two-story hydraulic lifts, and disaster relief variants that can deploy in minutes to create shelters. TerraFold One isn't just an RV. It's the first real demonstration of adaptive mobile architecture. But the emotional closing note belongs to the experience itself. When the sun sets, the forest darkens, and the cabin lights glow softly, TerraFold becomes more than engineering. It becomes sanctuary, a place to rest, breathe, disconnect, and belong, even far from civilization. The camera lifts above the trees one last time as the narrator speaks quietly. The road leads you here, but TerraFold One lets you stay. A home that unfolds where you want it, then disappears when the journey calls again. This is the future of mobile living, only on RV America.